Welcome, my name is Matt, aka Roadjet88. We're getting into Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, mods, Rose Tico. Rose Tico is once again another sequel trilogy. I'm trying to keep my comments to the bare minimum. But she is in the sequel trilogy, particularly Last Jedi. The sequel trilogy that my generation views as having been destroyed. Well, destroying what we knew of Star Wars, because it should have followed the series Star Wars Young Jedi Knights, as well as Star Wars New Jedi Order. But literally nothing in the sequel trilogy it was not this Star Wars. It was someone else's Star Wars, obviously. My generation is just not seeing that as Star Wars. Like, not even close. But, I guess the younger generation have enjoyed it. I've been actually trying to drum up some ideas so I can lessen my crapping on it. Because it really is hard for my generation to palate this. They just completely destroyed everything my generation knew and loved about Star Wars. And they expect us to still stick around somehow. But I did have a thought last night that I'm just going to throw out there, and if anyone from the Disney is actually listening to this, maybe you take into consideration so you can try to help put a stop to the fan war, and maybe show that you do give a crap about the people who follow Star Wars before y'all. Perhaps maybe do a series or just to kind of appease the original generation that y'all have largely lost. Why not actually do a set of films if you just absolutely have to title them a Star Wars lore? Alright, it's going to be annoying to my generation, maybe just a little bit, but because to us it's not a lore, it's Star Wars. But why not go ahead and actually give us the sequel trilogy y'all promised us and never gave us? Following these books specifically. And perhaps even the Bounty Hunter Wars as well. Like, have a parallel, maybe a parallel section of Star Wars films, kind of drawing us back a little better, going off to stories that we grew up with. Because, for example, for me and many others, many of us have wanted to see Shadows of the Empire, and y'all haven't even come close to trying to show us this. We have had our suggestions and our requests and have been only ignored. And then just spat on every time we point out what is kind of bothering us, instead of actually just, trying to see what it is we might like to see. Y'all so caught up with the younger generation, you forget about us. Maybe I'm just having a hard time knowing how to word this, but perhaps do a version, that is following the Young Jedi Knights, the Bounty Hunter Wars, and the New Jedi Order. And if you absolutely have to call it a Star Wars lore, then so be it. But at least give us the Star Wars we wanted. And considering I really hate this particular idea of you trying to find a way to tie in those two universe concepts. I hate this idea because it feels very Star Trek, and I respect the two entities separately. Star Trek for Star Trek, Star Wars for Star Wars. But you have the world between worlds. You couldn't find a way to tie in, bringing the two universes together. I'm just spitballing an idea, but and it's probably largely crap. But instead of adding on to the fan war, why don't you actually try a new trick and help put an end to it? I'm trying to keep my comments to the bare minimum. She made her appearance in Last Jedi. And in comparison of what my generation of Star Wars would have probably read through or even experienced with Star Wars characters, she's got to be probably the least impressive character I've ever come across, personally. But I'm seeing reasons for tenacity. I'm seeing reasons for defense, which hardly ever gets used. I'm seeing reasons for damage, and I'm seeing reasons for offense, either critical chance or critical damage. This is probably one that you kind of play around with, probably. I went with speed and tenacity with her. The in-game tips does say critical chance. SWGOH.GG was recommending, I think, speed and health. You can double check me on that one. Yeah, she's an attacker character. And I'm just going to keep this brief to the point. Yeah, you can go speed, tenacity, speed, and health. You can probably go with speed and potency if you wanted to. You can go with critical chance, but if you do the critical chance, maybe use critical damage with it. Or speed and critical chance. This is probably one you could probably play around with and have like a secondary loadout for. So, like in the assigned loadout section, you probably have some backup loadouts, kind of trade around, see what happens. So, yeah. For anyone who does get lost and confused about mods, I do in my very first video playlist. Or my character and mods playlist, I do break down by dictionary definition the various different types of character roles as well as the various different types of mods and kind of explaining what it is we're doing. Basically, we're just kind of doubling their character role abilities, or we're cross-training them to share features of another character role ability, essentially. So like with speed and tenacity, we're kind of giving her the ability to... We're basically kind of doubling her attacker abilities because speed is already kind of laced into her DNA. But then the tenacity, that's it means, by definition, it means not easily torn apart. So that's kind of like a tank, part of a tank feature. Two aspects of a tank. One, they're protecting whatever is within inside. They're protecting the squad members inside, or they're gonna have a mean punch to them. One or the other. So, I guess you're kind of giving her a mean punch with that ability, but the tenacity, we're making sure that she's able to stand her ground a little bit longer, especially since it looks like all she has is a little shock rod or cattle prod. No, she's got a pistol too, but But yeah, I mean, she does have needs for tenacity. She has needs for defense, which tenacity also provides, probably a lot more effectively. There is needs for damage, critical damage, and offense, or critical chance as well. So, or critical damage is still, the in-game tip is probably accurate, almost. I would go more critical damage before the critical chance, but those are kind of the suggestions I would make there for Rose Tico's mods. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comments, questions, suggestions down below, and thank you for following. May the Force be with you.